Hi everyone, welcome into the Playbook on ASBN. I'm your host, Mark Collier. Each week on the Playbook, I sit down with emerging entrepreneurs, seasoned business owners, and resource experts to deliver relevant information to the ASBN audience. The North Carolina Institute of Minority Economic Development was founded in 1986 to expand and diversify the state's economic base by providing direct support to minority and women-owned businesses. Now known as the National Institute of Minority Economic Development and spanning a 5-state footprint in the Southeast, the Institute continues to address racial and gender economic disparities by improving the ecosystem for diverse businesses, supporting community-based nonprofit organizations, and increasing access to capital for community economic development. The Institute has helped more than 10,000 minority businesses obtain over $1 billion in financial contracts and awards and secure more than $140 million in bonding. I'm joined today by Kevin Price, President and CEO of the Institute, and I'm anxious to learn more about the Institute's impactful initiatives. Welcome into the Playbook, Kevin.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here this morning.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day, man. The work you guys are doing at the Institute is second to none. So kindly share with me kind of the mission and vision of the National Institute of Minority Economic Development.
Well, our mission is really quite simple. It is to build the asset base of minority populations, and we do that through policy work, education, and the sessions that we offer through all of the icons that you see behind me, which are programs of the Institute. And we do that by providing economic opportunities for those that we're serving, whether it is small business owners, minority women business owners, or those who are building affordable housing, so that we can do two things: create wealth through home ownership or through business ownership, which we know are the two fastest ways of building wealth within minority communities.
Without a doubt, Kevin. There is no shortage of kind of what we call technical assistance providers out here. So, and I know differentiation is the holy grail of all business models. So kind of share with me how the Institute is different from other similar market offerings out there.
I think how we're different is we have a holistic approach to this. Many models, and if you remember years and years ago, because you and I are a little seasoned, so we're north of 40, there used to be a program many years ago called JTPA.
Okay.
And it trained people. But I think where there was an opportunity that was missed was connecting that with opportunities.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so our philosophy is we want to connect business owners with opportunities, with corporations that want to buy their products and services. The same for the community development corporations and affordable housing developers who also partner with us.
Yes.
And we have a lot of corporations who come to us because they know that reputation exists with us, and they are looking for those clients that they can engage with on a regular basis, and they know we'll produce.
No, you said something very key, Kevin. You said connections and relationships, and you're so right about that. There's one of my mentors when I was growing up told me a saying that I never forget. He said, your network influences your net worth. And that is so true, man, because the people that you surround yourself with, they're going to help propel you towards your goals, or they're going to hold you back, one of the two. So what you're detailing on relationships is spot on in my opinion. So,
well, you know, the Institute started out of a network.
Okay.
And so Andrea Harris, who her vision of creating the Institute started with a networking event.
Okay.
And that networking event turned into the Executive Networking Conference that we hold every year in Pinehurst.
Okay.
And that's important, and it's intentional because we wanted to go somewhere where you're not generally accustomed to going.
Right.
Where a lot of minority business owners don't necessarily frequent on a regular basis.
Yep.
And engage with procurement folks, engage with corporate CEOs and executives, engage with elected officials so we can all talk shop and figure out the best ways of building wealth within minority communities.
I love that, man. Collaboration, kind of a pulling together of brain trusts from separate areas, all focused on the same goal, and that's to advance minority and women-owned businesses. Very worthwhile goal there, Kevin. Very worthwhile goal. Now, for the businesses who you decide to utilize your services, is there a cost to those businesses to utilize the Institute's services?
For the most part, no. And that's also intentional because we have 3 women's business centers, one in Richmond, Virginia, one in Durham, North Carolina, located on Black Wall Street, one in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're growing south.
Okay.
But those businesses are all, those women's business centers are all funded primarily by the Small Business Administration.
Okay. Yes.
And so that allows us to not pass that cost on to the clients we want to serve.
Okay.
And
Well,
so we have additional funds from foundations and corporations as well, but those are free services.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of you kind of work off the same model that we do at the UGA SBDC, although we don't like to use the word free because that implies no value. What we say is our services come at no direct cost to you. So, but at any rate, but the model's a simple one, Kevin. When we and you guys help businesses grow their revenue, grow their employees, guess what they do? They pay more taxes, right? So that kind of helps the economic engine keep flowing. So
That's right.
Like I said, so institutes like yours are very well appreciated, much appreciated.
And
So-
I should say not monetarily free, but
Yes.
there is a cost. That cost is sweat equity.
Yeah, there you go.
We expect the businesses to show up. We expect them to be where we need them to be.
Yep.
Because those connections with corporations who want to do business with them, it's very important that we are dependable
Absolutely.
and we do what we say we're going to do.
Absolutely.
So if we're going to connect you with somebody, you got to be there. You got to put the work in and be ready.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it's a two-way street. Let's say the old saying in the Bible: God only helps those who help themselves. So,
Absolutely.
so you can lead them to that water, but they've got to actually take the initiative and drink it. So I get that. All right. So let's talk about some of your success stories. Kind of share with me kind of one of the Institute's success stories that you are most proud of. I would love to hear about that.
Well, I think there are quite a few actually. We recently pulled together a group of minority businesses that we wanted to highlight during ENC as a result of Retool NC, which is the governor of North Carolina took part of his CARES Act dollars.
Yes.
He segregated those out, gave us $14 million to give away as grants to minority businesses across the state.
Okay.
And we wanted to highlight some of them. One has a very successful medicinal business. And has figured out how to use cannabis in a creative and legal way.
Okay.
And done very well during the pandemic with her business.
Fantastic.
So we wanted to highlight her. Another in the Charlotte market had an ice cream business. Obviously, people weren't going out to do things like that. And when many governors across the state had these stay-at-home orders, no one was going into retail establishments.
Correct.
And so our grant helped him retool his business, keep his business alive, and now he's thriving again.
That's fantastic.
So there are many examples like that we can share of how we've supported businesses and got them to really rethink their business model during a crisis like this. So the next time a pandemic occurs, they're prepared for that.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we won't see one for another 100 years, right?
Well, let's hope.
All right. So looking ahead, outside of pandemics, what other looming challenges kind of do you see on the horizon for minority businesses in the future?
I think there are a couple challenges. One is, I've told many business owners there's a difference between having a bank relationship and a bank account.
Yes.
And for far too often, I see minority business owners who just have a bank account.
Yep.
They know the teller very well because they are always giving the teller their deposits or they're sticking them in the night box, the drop box. But you got to know the account representative in that business whose
Absolutely.
job is to be thinking about your business and how to connect that with the bank products.
Absolutely.
So that's one. The other is I think there's still an opportunity to generate more capital for minority business owners.
Yes.
We saw so many who weren't able to navigate PPP last year
Correct.
and EIDL, and many of the banks just weren't connected with them, didn't know them.
No, correct.
So these intermediaries like community development financial institutions
Yep.
are another way for minority business owners to have access to capital.
Yes.
So as a previous banker, I used to always coach my clients, never have your entire banking relationship with one bank.
Sound advice, Kevin. Sound
Because
advice.
that makes that bank complacent. They don't have
Sure.
to work for your business, they already have it.
Sure.
So what if you're disenchanted with our services? The odds of you untangling all of that and moving to a different bank are very unlikely.
Absolutely.
You'll just be disgruntled.
Sure. Sure.
And so versus putting yourself in that position, have multiple relationships so you can keep your banker hungry. They're always out to get your additional business with you. And it gives you an opportunity to gauge whether you're getting the best service and the best price for your dollar.
No, that's sound advice. I mean, I kind of counsel my clients that too. I say do business with banks who are willing to do business with you. It's got to be a two-way street. It's got to be a reciprocal relationship where both parties are benefiting, or it's not serving the best needs of the business owner if they're not getting benefit from it. So, spot on observations, my friend. So, under your leadership at the National Institute, what are some of your kind of personal and organizational goals that you've been looking at?
Well, the Institute, you pointed out earlier that we were founded in 1986. I started with the Institute last March the 9th.
Okay.
A week later, COVID hit. And
you
I
were
sent
thrust
everybody
right
home.
into the fire, man, right into the fire.
It was baptism by fire. And so you learn very quickly. It was important for me to understand the mechanisms and the inner workings of the Institute.
Yes.
And what I found was the Institute was still the Institute of 1986.
Yeah.
With a few tweaks. And so I needed to bring it to a more current state.
Okay.
Given what we were experiencing last year, given so many businesses were not able to get financial resources.
Correct.
And so we retooled it. We have a new strategic plan, 4 lines of business that we're working under. We have a policy center for entrepreneurship, where we're supporting minority and women-owned businesses, a center for community investment, which I'm very excited about because last June we merged with another nonprofit. We tripled in size. We now have a community development financial institution, so we're able to make loans and investments in minority and women-owned businesces.
Fantastic.
So they don't have to rely on just a bank, a commercial bank.
Mm-hmm.
They can come to us for those needs. And then we have this Center for Professional Services, where we're partnering with corporations and providing diversity, equity, inclusion support and supply inclusion support for them and coaching them through that process as well.
Okay.
So real excited about our direction.
Fantastic. Kevin Price, CEO of the National Institute for Economic Development. I want to thank you again for taking the time out of your busy day, come on and just kind of share some of the great initiatives and programs that the Institute is engaged in. And I can only see bright things for your future, man. I just want to say kudos to you and keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being on, and thank you for highlighting what we're doing.
Absolutely. Hope to have you on in the future, man. I'm sure you've got some big plans this year, so I want to have you on again and you can kind of update me as to the great things you've been doing since our chat today.
Well, I look forward to it. We're expanding south, so you mentioned 5 states, soon to be 6.
All right. Well, fantastic.